the reason you start doing these self-sabotage things is because initially they are a coping mechanism. They are a survival thing for you to do. And over time, they go from regulating your system as a coping mechanism to becoming a force of dysregulation in itself. Hello guys, how's it going? I am standing like this because I want you to know that I have hair, although it will not look like it for most of this video. I also want to let you know the purpose of this video. It's to reframe how you think about self-sabotage. I've learned a couple of new paradigms on how to think of self-sabotage lately, and I also want to share with you guys 2 actionable tips on how to deal with self-sabotage. They're actionable, but also like involve slowing down to speed up your progress with eliminating self-sabotage from your life. So I feel like when I said actionable, it made me giggle because I don't know, they seem not so actionable, you know, not like woo action movie style, but more like real life action style. I also want to tell you guys a couple tidbits of news before telling you guys my new paradigms of thinking about self-sabotage and the advice. And those 2 things are, 1, I don't want to edit this video because girls got too much to do to be perfect, to worry about being perfect and stumble over my words just to start over and then spend hours editing. Who's got time in their day to be perfect and do that? I want a name. It's not me. If you can't tell by the lack of videos in the past couple weeks. Exciting things coming, by the way. Second thing that I want to tell you guys before jumping into the self-sabotage of the video is one of those exciting things. And that is that I am officially a trauma recovery coach. It's really big news. I'm super psyched about it. And if you are interested in working with me, I would love to work with you, I'm pretty sure, if we're a good fit. So if you feel like you're ready to accelerate your healing and have someone who understands, who you know, sort of, I mean, as much as you can know someone going into a working relationship with them. Like, you know, you go into therapy and you don't know them, but you kind of know me if you've watched my videos. And someone who can be your friend. If you can't tell, I'm friendly, I'm loving. And someone who can be your cheerleader, because girl's optimistic as heck and I want to share that with you. If you're interested, please reach out. My information is below. So I think that's the last news item that I have to share with you right now. I could share so much more, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to get into the topic of the video because it's been like 3 minutes. Okay, so what we're talking about today, I am really going to want to edit this out, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'll probably make it black and white because I've got enough time to have comedic relief, but not enough time to cut it out. And I have enough time to talk about it. So, okay. Anyways, so the first paradigm shift involving self-sabotage was my learning different, like, this versus this pendulums that we trauma survivors experience and like swing between. And some people, you know, are stuck between this or this. So a few examples are between our trauma self and our authentic self. You know, we swing from one direction to the other until we find the nice balance in the middle. Another is denial versus acceptance. And then the one that I want to talk about today that corresponds to self-sabotage is comedic relief, editing, whoop whoop. I was looking at Lucy. Okay, the one that is related to self-sabotage is between rigidity and chaos. So some people are either like so in control or just so wanting control, and they feel like they're living in chaos because they can't be controlling of everything, or like they're wanting control but they're not able to reach that. And some people are like completely just surrounded by chaos, filled with chaos, for all these different reasons. And maybe they are really seeking control as well, but like there's no denying the fact that their life is complete chaos. And the answer is in the middle, right? So why I think this relates to self-sabotage is because I think that I experience self-sabotage and view my life as chaotic because I cannot be in rigid control of my self-sabotage. And I think people who experience addictions feel this way. They don't feel like they're in control of their use of a substance or this action. There's lots of different kinds of addictions. And another way that you can feel like you're in chaos is if your needs aren't met. And I guess that's not so much relating to self-sabotage, but hey, maybe you could be financially stable if you didn't self-sabotage and spend your money in a way that sabotages your financial security, the most primary basis of your needs, you know, before you can move on to even psychological security and then like self-actualization, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, whoop whoop. Okay, and then another way that you could self-sabotage is, and like have a life of chaos, is by having a very redundant, you know, just like lots of victim mentality. So you could sabotage your relationships by always projecting, people seeing you as the victim, by perpetuating a life of chaos around you and an external locus of control, viewing yourself as the victim. That is chaos. And you may not even be aware of it. When people have victim mentalities that run really deep and strong, I don't think that they're super aware of the fact that their life is complete chaos, and honestly, their mentality is the root of the chaos. But even deeper than that root of victim mentality and like themselves being the saboteur of the chaos of their life, what runs even deeper is you being raised in a chaotic home or in a controlling as heck home. And in both regards, changing how you've lived, I'm going like this because imagine that you are riding a bike in a circle for, I don't know, however long you've been alive. I am 25 years old. Imagine if since I was 0 years old, I was just running, biking in a circle. There's gonna be a rut that you make into the ground. It's like water. Water is flowing, but over time it can carve valleys, grand valleys. What's it called? The Grand Canyon can carve canyons. Like, that is the force of the momentum of your life, of your actions. And so if you are raised in chaos, that is the momentum that your life is in, the rut that you are in, and changing that is really difficult. It's really difficult. Do not underrate the difficulty. It's not impossible. Humans are so resilient. Neuroplasticity is a thing. We can change. People to help, a helping hand helps a lot. It can accelerate the process for sure. Hit me up if you want to work together. But I mean, where I'm going with this is that even beneath the root of yourself being the problem of your life, self-sabotaging, understand that there's something deeper. Roots even deeper. Since before you can even recall, that are making it really hard for you to change. So I guess I talked more about being in chaos and controlling this, but I think you guys are super smart and you can use your imagination to understand where you are and why. So if you're like more on the controlling side of the pendulum, you know, use your imagination. I'm gonna move on to the second paradigm and then talk about how to find the sweet in between. Okay, so another thing concerning self-sabotage that I was considering just yesterday was during a coaching session. I was actually observing one because I am in a course for coaching, but you know, there's actually coaching, and then there's observing coaching, and then there's all the education. Anywho, I was observing a coaching session, and someone was talking about not being able to sleep, and it was brought up that why is that? And that actually sometimes trauma would occur during the nighttime, like lying down and sleeping. That's actually when a trauma would occur. Very serious stuff, you know. And I personally related to this by, okay, so I personally related to this part of the story. Sorry guys, got a little all over the place there, but I used to lay down at night. This is kind of upsetting, so warning. And just hear yelling, like, I don't know. There was a lot of nights when like there was just yelling. When I went home, I didn't know what to expect, but I could expect that there would be just fighting. And it all blurred together into me kind of losing track of like what the specific fights were and what was actually going on. It was just like a big fighting mess in my perception of reality. And then there were other nights when I would lay in bed, and I don't know why, but I would just like fear that people would die during the night. And so I would be like, I love you, this person, I love you, that person, you know. It's like laying in bed, like just so scared of a lot of things. I don't know, nighttime was a scary time for me. Nothing like super, like I wasn't abused during my sleep or anything, but like lying down, going to bed, it can be hard for people to go to bed because they have traumatic stuff tied to that time of day, that place, their bed, you know, just home in general. And so connecting this to self-sabotage, you know what, actually first, another thing that I wanted to say when I wanted to go off in all these different directions is that also when you lay down, even if there wasn't a traumatic thing connected to going to bed, that could be a time when, after dissociating all day long and keeping all of these different thoughts at bay and feelings at bay, you're letting your mind loose, and it roams and brings forth all of the stuff that you've been repressing throughout the day. And that's just tough stuff. So that might be a reason why you have a hard time falling asleep. But why self-sabotage? For instance, okay, this is something else very personal. The whole realization that made me understand this concept was personal, and I have this habit of when I go home, I do this thing that I don't like, self-sabotage. And I was thinking about this further as I learned about this yesterday, this whole like not being able to fall asleep stuff, and like, okay, when I come home, I do this thing, and it helps me not have those thoughts when I go to sleep. And you know, also I think just coming home is a trigger that like those thoughts are gonna come, or like that the yelling is gonna come. And so it's all like kind of a structure in my life, like cue coming home, cue trying to avoid the feelings and thoughts that come along with coming home. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, this behavior is just a part of this bigger structure in my life. It's associated to all these different vague things and memories, and it's just like a whole part of my life, which is being at home. So I hope, you know, I feel like if you get it, you get it, and I'm gonna leave it there and move on to my actionable tips. So the first thing that I want to say is let's all take a deep breath, okay? Because things might have come up for you when I was explaining controlling versus chaos and like the structure in which self-sabotage occurs. So everyone, let's ground back into the present moment by taking a few deep breaths together. Okay, ready? You are here now and you are safe. You are in control. You are safe. Okay, so the 2 action steps that I want to share with you are 1, to have some self-compassion. And see, it doesn't sound actionable, but when you specifically self-sabotage, letting go of those paradigms that I talked about, like specifically this behavior or thought pattern that runs rampant in your life. When that happens, gain an awareness of it, and instead of going right into like, this sucks, have a little bit of self-compassion. Be easy on yourself, because it's been going on for so long. It has all this momentum in your life, and it's hard to make changes. It's possible, and it will happen for you. But the journey to get there will first of all just be a lot nicer if you're not hating yourself on the way. And also maybe quicker if you have compassion for yourself. Maybe you'll feel less triggered to self-sabotage because you love yourself and you want to act like it. I don't know. It sounds not actionable. It sounds like far out. But hey, get that failure mindset out of here, alright? Give this a chance. Compassion, okay? I'm going to share this person who talks about self-compassion right here. Her name is escaping me right now, but learn more about that actionably here. It's a great thing to look into, you guys. Self-compassion. It'll take you far. Fast. Okay, and ironically, the second actionable tip that I have for you concerning self-sabotage is to do things just one thing at a time and not let it all, you know, like together. If you do self-sabotage, know that you can have an awareness of it and not do it again, you know? Just because you did it this time doesn't mean that, like, you're gonna do it again. You know, just because you had this cigarette, for instance, doesn't mean that, like, you're gonna have 12 more. And that can just apply to so many different things. So one thing at a time. And then also, like, when you are going through your day, just take things one thing at a time, and making change in all aspects of your life becomes so much easier. And also, instead of letting life slip you by, is that the phrase? You can do things to the best of your ability and live a quality, present life, and that in itself will help with self-sabotage, I promise you. And there's so many things that go along with this. I think that living slower, that's why it was ironic. I'm like, self-compassion will get you there, like, faster by doing things slowly and with self-compassion. But if you do things slowly, you can also take the time to pause, remember what your values are and what your long-term goals are. Remember that you're here in this moment and not in, like, a very triggered, traumatic past moment where, oh god, that was another thing I wanted to share, where your self-sabotage was a coping mechanism. Okay, so going back to, like, the second paradigm shift, the reason you start doing these self-sabotage things is because initially they are a coping mechanism. They are a survival thing for you to do. And over time, they go from regulating your system as a coping mechanism to becoming a force of dysregulation in itself. That initially was supposed to regulate an area of your life, but, you know, just added to the chaos. So taking things one thing at a time can help you stay true to you and realize that you're here now and that you have the ability to choose something else, to choose acting in alignment with what you really want now and what will take you where you want to be in 5 years from now. It'll help you like act in alignment and make long-term choices rather than like momentarily satisfying ones. So that is all that I want to share with you guys today. And I guess just one other thing, I kind of mentioned it before, is don't go into things thinking that you're gonna fail. You may have self-sabotage so many times that you've lost your hope that you'll ever change. But this time, starting now or tomorrow, I don't know, because I get it, think that this is the time it's going to succeed. And be like, wow, good job, you know, you're trying again. That's great. And that's self-compassion, if you didn't catch that. And, you know, just take it moment by moment instead of being like, I'm never gonna do this again. Be like, okay, this time I'm gonna make the right choice. And this time I'm gonna make the right choice. And then it's gonna make me feel better to do this. And you know, it just will all add up. And that rut that you've been in will slowly lose momentum. And a new rut will, and you'll make the leap. Soon, I promise. You can do it. Believe in yourself, okay? Okay, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for accepting me as my imperfect self. I hope that you can take what you need from this video, leave the rest for someone else who needs it. And I hope that you stay around to watch the next. Hit subscribe, hit like, email me, work with me, buy me a coffee. What else? Okay, I'll talk to you guys very soon, I hope. I'm busy, but okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye. Get out of here, okay? Go, go, go. I'm just kidding. You guys can stay. Okay, please stay.